Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I stand to move the following motion tabled in my name. And I read, whereas Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson had the distinction of being the only national to have served as President and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and whereas the former Prime Minister and the President was a pivotal figure in the struggle for Tobago's autonomy and eventually became the first chairman of the restored Tobago House of Assembly. And whereas Arthur N.R. Robinson created the foundation for the establishment of the International Criminal Court, and whereas there is no public monument nor sacred space to recognize and symbolize the achievements and contributions of this exemplary Tobagonian, be it resolved that a public monument be instituted at an appropriate location as a focal point in memory of the achievements and contributions of Arthur N.R. Robinson, and be it further resolved that this House mandate the Executive Council to pursue measures that will ensure that our heroes and icons are recognized in an effective and dignified manner. Madam Presiding Officer, the intent of this motion is to commemorate the remembrance of the passing of Mr. Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson on the 9th of April 2014 and propose the building of a public monument at a place designed and designated as a focal point for specific memory on his behalf and on behalf of other heroes and icons of Tobago as a means of demonstrating a sense of continuity and allegiance to the past. Madam Presiding Officer, this proposal for official memory and remembrance is a monumental effort to continue to honor A.N.R. Robinson and other heroes of this island community for their devotion, dedication, lifetime struggle, and sacrifice, which contribute to make the people of Tobago more liberated and for all of us to enjoy a level of self-determination and autonomy. I saw a quotation from the U.S. National Cemeteries that states, "Show me the manner in which a nation or community cares for its dead, and I will measure with mathematical exactness the tender sympathies of the people, their respect for the laws of the land, and their loyalty to high ideals." Madam Presiding Officer, this is a very interesting motion, very timely, very thought-provoking, both from the standpoint of the content and the viewpoint of the context.
The young people must know that Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson is our Tobagonian inspiration. It proves that a young Tobagonian from Calder Hall, Castara, Crown Point, or Charlottesville, any part of Tobago, can journey to become the President of Trinidad and Tobago. As we reflect and admire the achievements of Mr. Robinson and consider how to pay tribute to his contributions, it is critical for us to accept that whilst a physical tribute is a must, the best tribute that we can pay is to emulate the strong attributes which was a key part to his success. He distinguished himself as a leader of leaders, not taking the easy road, not running away when times got tough. He, alongside others, championed the fight for Tobago's autonomy, a fight that we continue to struggle with today. He was there for the implementation of the First Assembly, as was explained by the carrier of the motion. It was not an easy feat when you think about implementing all the new systems and the policies that were needed as a part of that First Assembly. He was there for the Black Power movement. He was there during the times of recession. It meant that he had to be prepared to take some hard decisions. Taking hard decisions that most likely were very unpopular at the time. But he had to do it, and he did it many times during those periods. It is those hard decisions that have given us the opportunity to be where we are today and to continue on the journey that he has laid a firm foundation. But in order to achieve all of this, he had to have some special attributes that he would have relied on. And for me, the first one that is key is to never forget where you came from. We heard that whilst he continued to fly the flag in Trinidad, he ensured that people, wherever they came from, knew where Tobago was, knew what a Tobagonian is. And therefore, he has to be given credit for that. And even in his death, he insisted that he be brought home to be with his people. The next quality that continues to distinguish him apart from the rest is his commitment to integrity. When I listen to the struggles of young people today, their complaints, their challenges, the designers who want to get their items out, who want to stay right from here in Capital of Paradise, design and export to the rest of the world. The agro-processors who are trying to reach larger markets, they're upgrading their skills from here, but they struggle. The students who are preparing for CAPE and CXC to give them an opportunity of a better life. The farmers who struggle to satisfy even the local market. The filmmakers who are attempting to break ground in the global market. The athlete who competes to be recognized and be the best in their game. I want all of them to remember that there was a child in Castara who made it possible for them to believe that they can actually achieve what they set out to do. And I want them also to recognize that that child back then was able to achieve it without the current policies of the Assembly, which provides more opportunities for more Tobagonians to reach their potential. Back then, Robinson did not have access to scholarships that we have now as part of the Assembly to support young Tobagonians who, in addition to GATE, need some additional assistance to achieve their goal. Back then, he did not have access to the grants and the loans available at the Business Development Unit to bolster our young entrepreneurs and give them a starting point that they could take off, so that they can take off. Back then, there were no modern facilities for the fishermen that gives them the opportunity to lift their standard of providing fish for the community and hopefully to go further and provide for outside of this island. There was no packaging plant back then that provides the opportunity for our farmers to be able to package their products.
I consider Romans 13:7, the last part, it says, we should give honor to whom honor is due. Of course, it would be good to give honor while someone is alive, so they can enjoy the accolades. But even when they are dead, it's good to memorialize them, Madam Presiding Officer, so that the young and the new generation can be reminded of the influence, of the inspiration and the legacy of the life that was lived. We've spoken at length, or past two contributors have spoken at length about the hero, our own local hero, Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson, and the contribution that he has made to Tobago and to Trinidad and to Tobago and to the rest of this region. And somebody might ask me, a hero, and for some of our young people who have been filled with cartoons, they would probably think that a hero is a guy with a cape running about saving lives. But a hero doesn't necessarily wear a cape, Madam Presiding Officer. A hero is a person distinguished by his courage or ability, admired for his brave deeds and noble qualities. A person, in the opinion of others, who has done heroic deeds and has heroic qualities and has performed heroic acts and is a role model for the rest of the society. That person is a hero. And therefore, as we talk about commemorating the life of the Honorable Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson, I am actually thinking that the end of the motion inspires us in this room to call all of our young Tobagonians to consider that this island and this nation need more heroes. And be it for the resolve that this House mandate the Executive Council to pursue measures that will ensure that our heroes and icons are recognized in an effective and dignified manner. The call is not just for us to recognize the heroes, but for us to understand why we recognize them. As I perused in my preparation for this debate this evening, Madam Presiding Officer, the web and other sources, I found out that for thousands of years, monuments were erected around the world, not just to take up a space for beautification so that tourists can enjoy, but monuments were put up. I had twofold. It's good that the tourists can enjoy the space, but they were put up as a reminder or as a warning for the next generation. So a monument is left as a legacy to inspire, to advise, and to warn. Today, while I'm speaking, I should be at a funeral, Madam Presiding Officer, funeral of the late Dr. Egbert Brebner. And I heard the Honorable Member for Blackrock Spring Garden saying that a hero is not necessarily one of those who was in the political lines, who changed the world politically, but somebody who impacted the lives of any community to bring about change. And when we talk about a man who has done some change, Dr. Brebner has in his humble way, has made significant contributions to the development of our country, of our island, of our region. When I saw last night at the wake the amount of ministers throughout the region, Pentecostal men, who are talking about the significant impact that he has made. I heard something, I need to correct it. I'll stand corrected in repeating the statement. If I'm not mistaken, last night it was said he was the first Pentecostal man on this island to hold a doctorate. That's something significant. There are so many others on this island who have contributed, but we do not know their names. Significant contributions were made. And so the quest or the pursuit of those, that legacy, of those who have made significant contributions, should be ours, to make sure we can record them and tell them to our children so that they'll be inspired, that they'll be warned to make significant contributions. In 2014, CSP approached the Bethel community, and they have set up just above the Bethel Montgomery grounds an area designated for memorializing those who made significant contributions to the Bethel community. And I remember standing in this house and calling out a few names sometime before. But when we think about the legacy of Bethel, a rich heritage, if we're beginning to name persons in music, you can't forget McCarthy Sandy Lewis, Calypso Rose, significant contribution in music to our island, to our country. When we're there, we can talk about others who have made significant contribution, but I don't want to just stay in Bethel. I just want to inspire you to look within your own communities, and you will find those who have made and are still making contributions and need to be recognized and honored. It is good to say thanks. Some may think that to put a monument is a waste of time and a waste of money. But when you are gone and your children come and there's something to speak to them, as an interesting turn of events. Before I sit down, Madam Presiding Officer, I want to personally, and I want to encourage the others around the horseshoe, to in their own spare time, take the time to help to make a hero. Because long after we are gone, we need others to take over this space and to manage this space. And so we too must become inspirations. I don't know what my demise would be like, or when it will be, or how it will be. But when I am gone, I would like to be remembered as someone who changed my space. And while we memorialize others, I want to challenge us to make the kinds of contributions so that we will change our world, we will change our space, we will change our Tobago, we will influence lives for the better, so that we too will be recorded as heroes when we're past. And I want to speak to the youth of Tobago, the young men of Bethel Mount Irvin, from Charlottesville to Crown Point, the young women. I want to say to you that Tobago is looking for heroes. Heroes who will not just settle for an early morning work. Heroes who will pick up their books and get an education. Heroes who will become entrepreneurs and take their future in their hands and work by the powers of God to make significant changes to their lives and to this island. We're looking for heroes who will put down the drugs and take up some kind of life skill that will change their community. We're looking for heroes who will make sure that this tourist destination is a place that is revered and persons will come back and come back again. We're looking for heroes who are not just waiting on the government or the THA to make something happen, but people who are making things happen by their space.
I stand here in support of the motion. I don't think enough can be said about Mr. Robinson and his contribution. You go on the internet, Google, and there are pages and articles, pages of information on Mr. Robinson. I too support that a monument is fitting of such an individual. But I also want to support what the Assemblyman for Bethel Mount Irving, and it's stated in the motion that we also have to recognize other individuals who have made a contribution to Tobago and the people of Tobago. They may not be recognized nationally, regionally, or internationally like Mr. Robinson, but to the man on the street, this person had more of an impact on them than Mr. Robinson. The contribution, and we've heard various definitions of a hero and icons. My definition, this is just a layman's definition, of a national icon or hero is someone whose contribution or contributions has benefited many over a long period of time. I want to stress that it could either be one single action or a series of actions over that has benefited individuals. I'll give you an example of how one action can affect the lives of many. We all know of Ms. Pamela Nicholson, MP, Tobago stalwart. But I want to draw attention to her life before she became a politician. I want to draw reference or highlight her contribution when she was just a teacher, a high school teacher down in Scarborough Secondary. Prior to the early 80s, we've all heard of or knew about the intercol football. But prior to 1983, only the prestige schools were allowed to take part in intercol. Just as the name implies, it was colleges. So it would be the Naparima College, Queen's Royal, St. Mary's, Fatima, those prestige schools. Secondary schools weren't allowed to take part in that competition. Somehow Ms. Nicholson, I don't think she did it diplomatically, because she's really not known for her subtlety. But it took her a while, but she really lobbied and fought for the cause for secondary schools to take part in the football competition, the high school football competition. And because she led the charge, the governing body of the secondary or the football, the intercol committee, reviewed their policy and allowed secondary schools to take part in the competition. Where would many people be, or many footballers be, without Bertil Sinclair, given that dedication and commitment to helping others? As the Secretary for Community Development and Culture mentioned, that commitment is, I'll give you an example. I tried it once, Madam Presiding Officer, to give back in football in my community. I really tried. Came out on a Saturday morning, because we started off something in Lambo, and I came out Saturday morning, couple Saturday mornings. And after about the third Saturday, there's a saying that man must know thyself. I recognize that such a commitment is not for the faint-hearted. And I thought I was strong, but I recognize that with regards to that kind of commitment, I don't have it. Giving back. Mr. Harold Yearwood, tennis. Again, the Saturdays for kids, for children, free. Where he got the rackets, where he got the balls, I don't know. And this is before we even had a Tobago House of Assembly. This is before people got skilled in the knack of writing letters to the various divisions, asking for assistance. This was an era when you had to make do with what you have. So 4 of us, I was part of that same Harold Yearwood tennis clinic going on Saturday mornings. 4 or 5 of us had to use 1 racket. And we made do. As a result of Harold Yearwood, we have Mr. Coach Anthony Williams, who is carrying on the same program down on Shaw Park. I mean, you see literally hundreds of kids during the week taking advantage of the services from Mr. Coach Williams. These are people, in my estimation, Madam Presiding Officer, worthy of being recognized as icons in this community, in this Tobago. Track and field, we have Mr. Gerald Franklin, 30 plus years in the vineyards. He's churned out world champions, he's churned out Olympians, again free of charge. The Honorable Assemblyman from Bethel Mount Turvin mentioned that we really shouldn't wait for these people to die off before we recognize them. I want to get to a person who, not in the sporting arena, but more in the community service. I want to make mention to a very simple and humble man. A man from Lambeau. A man called Mr. William Mackenzie.
Madam Presiding Officer, I also want to recollect sometime in 2001, the Prime Minister then, Ian R. Robinson, and he was giving out, pinning awards, national awards. And I was fortunate to receive an award then. And when he was pinning the pin, the stuff on my blouse, he pulled me closer and he said, "Don't go away. I want for us to discuss a family I need you to help me with." And we went on to talk about the kind of help he wanted for, families in Tobago. And he has always been like that. He would always call and ask for support to enhance, develop our young people and our families. And so, in terms of the kind of inspiration, the kind of way in which he distinguished himself as a leader of leaders, the way he fought for autonomy, the way he stood up for Tobago, the courage he had for his country, the way he was for country and not for self. And I think these are the kind of characteristics that we should all try to emulate. And in so doing, we as leaders can take this country forward.
Honorable members, the question is, whereas Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson had the distinction of being the only national to have served as President and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and whereas the former Prime Minister and President was a pivotal figure in the struggle for Tobago's autonomy and eventually became the first chairman of the restored Tobago House of Assembly, and whereas Arthur N.R. Robinson created the foundation for the establishment of the International Criminal Court, and whereas there is no public monument nor sacred space to recognize and symbolize the achievements and contributions of this exemplary Tobagonian, be it resolved that a public monument be instituted at an appropriate location as a focal point in the memory of the achievements and contributions of Arthur N.R. Robinson, and be it further resolved that this House mandate the Executive Council to pursue measures that will ensure that our heroes and icons are recognized in an effective and dignified manner. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is therefore carried.